Kindness alone isn't enough to thrive in this world. If you believe that simply being a good person will lead you to success, you're living in a fantasy. Deep down, you already know this, even if you struggle to admit it. Think about how many times you felt like people walk all over you. How often have you done the right thing, only to be ignored, or worse, taken advantage of? Society teaches that honesty and integrity are rewarded, yet reality tells a different story. The world doesn't favor the purely virtuous. It favors those who understand how to navigate power and perception. This is where Machiavelli comes in. He understood something most people ignore. Human nature is unpredictable, selfish, and, when necessary, ruthless. In The Prince, he made one thing clear. Virtue without strategy is a weakness. Kindness without awareness is a trap. And the question is, how many times have you fallen into that trap? Look at the people you admire, those who have reached the pinnacle of success. Do you think they got there by relying solely on good intentions? They succeeded because they understood when to act in the shadows, when to reveal their true selves, and how to balance morality with strategy. They recognized that being seen as noble wasn't enough. They had to command respect, not just seek approval. The problem isn't your kindness, it's your lack of protection. You assume others play by the same moral rules, but they don't. The world is filled with opportunists who can detect naivety from miles away, and whether you realize it or not, you've been their perfect target. This is where Machiavelli offers an alternative: intelligent kindness. This doesn't mean abandoning your principles or becoming ruthless. Instead, it means pairing kindness with a deep understanding of reality. It's about learning to read people, predicting their intentions, and discerning when to trust and when to guard yourself. Machiavelli famously stated, "It is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both." Which have you chosen? Chances are you've sought love and approval, wanting to be accepted and seen as harmless. But what has that gotten you? Not respect, not influence. Instead, you've made yourself an easy target, someone who can be used without consequence. Because kindness without strength doesn't inspire admiration. It invites pity. Don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying you should stop being good. I'm saying you need to be good without being naive. The world doesn't reward righteousness. It rewards those who are shrewd. True virtue isn't submission. It's the ability to balance ethics with pragmatism. Machiavelli taught that perception is everything. It's not just about who you are, but also about how others perceive you. If you seem weak, you will be treated as weak. If you project strength, you will command respect. How many times have you allowed disrespect because you feared losing someone's approval? How often have you stayed silent to avoid conflict, only to realize that silence cost you more than it saved? This isn't about being aggressive. It's about being strategic. Knowing when to act, when to speak, when to retreat, and when to strike is what separates leaders from followers. Kindness can be a weapon when used wisely, but left unchecked, it becomes your greatest liability. Many good people fall into the trap of believing the world values purity of heart. It doesn't. The world values power, decisiveness, and the ability to make difficult choices. Kindness is only respected when it's backed by authority. Without power, your kindness is meaningless. Machiavelli would warn you not to be a lamb in a world of wolves. Don't let your morality turn you into a pawn. True virtue isn't passive, it's strategic. It's about shaping the environment to work in your favor, not simply adapting to it. So, how much longer will you allow the world to walk all over you? How much longer will you be a victim of your own innocence? I'm not asking you to give up kindness. I'm asking you to wield it intelligently. Learn to move discreetly when necessary. Know when to offer a smile and when to show your teeth. The world isn't fair, but you can learn to play by its real rules and still remain true to yourself. Machiavelli didn't write The Prince to promote evil. He wrote it to teach survival. And now, the question is, will you continue believing that kindness alone is enough? Or will you start applying true intelligence? Here's the reality. Perception of power matters more than actual power. It's not enough to be strong. You must appear strong. It's not enough to be competent. You must project competence. In this world, reality matters less than how others perceive you. How many times have you seen an incompetent person rise while a more talented one remains stuck? How often has a manipulator succeeded while a hard-working, honest individual struggled? This isn't an accident. People don't necessarily follow those who are good or just. They follow those who exude authority and control. Many people fail because they believe truth alone is enough. They think their abilities will speak for themselves. But the world doesn't reward those who are right. It rewards those who know how to sell their story. Machiavelli understood this perfectly. Perception is everything. A leader who appears insecure, even if they are the most competent, will fail. A worker who doesn't make their achievements known will be overlooked. A person who has value but doesn't project it will be ignored. This is why mastering your own narrative is crucial. It's not about deception, it's about controlling what others see. In any social interaction, people filter reality through assumptions and emotions. The question is, are you letting those filters work against you, or are you using them to your advantage? If you are kind but perceived as weak, you will be treated as weak. If you are just but appear soft, you will be walked over. If you are talented but seem unsure, you will be ignored. It's that simple. The true power players understand something most do not. Information is power. Those who dominate always seem to know something others don't. Why? Because they know when to speak and when to stay silent. Many people believe in absolute transparency. They think sharing everything is a virtue. But in reality, giving away too much information makes you vulnerable. Machiavelli advised leaders to conceal their true intentions, not to deceive, but to protect themselves in a world where everyone is looking for an advantage. So, learn to control what you share. Say only what's necessary. Maintain an air of mystery. If people can predict your every move, they can manipulate you. And here's another lesson. The one who speaks the least commands the most respect. Silence creates curiosity. Curiosity gives power. If you always reveal everything, people stop valuing your words. If you always justify yourself, people assume you lack confidence. But if you speak only when necessary, if you control the flow of information, people will start paying attention. Mastering strategic distance is another overlooked tool. Being too available makes you seem less valuable. Scarcity creates demand. Absence creates impact. If you're always there, people take you for granted. But when you make your presence felt at the right moment, you become impossible to ignore. And finally, emotional control is the foundation of power. Those who react impulsively are easy to manipulate. The moment someone provokes you and you lose control, you've given them power. Machiavelli understood that true strength isn't about force, it's about calculated restraint. The one who controls their emotions controls how others perceive them. So, will you continue allowing others to control your fate? Or will you learn to navigate the world with intelligence, strategy, and a kindness that is unbreakable? The choice is yours.